if you pick the right animals, you're basically the Ben 10 of snacks, where you can get the specific superpowers you want. And once I was on Ben 10, I decided that the sport I wanted to do was beat all the decathlon records.
Nice.
So the sports for the decathlon are the 100-meter dash, 400-meter dash, 1500-meter run, long jump, high jump, pole vault, 110-meter hurdles, javelin, discus, shot put.
So there's a lot of overlapping abilities there.
Right, so I grouped a few of them together. So obviously, the 100-meter and 400-meter dash. Actually, your best animal is just the cheetah. You know, I was actually a little bit disappointed when I was like, oh, what's the actual fastest animal? Everyone thinks it's the cheetah, but it actually is just the cheetah.
Are there no, like, birds or fish that go faster?
Not, like, as far as, like... Well, I also scaled everything. So, one, you can't be a fish because the fish need water to get that speed.
Right.
And two, birds need to be, like, usually our diving speeds that are that high, and they need, like, a lot of build-up time to get up to those speeds.
Right.
So, it was a cheetah. Can you, like, as far as what your snack belt has, can you just use Cheetos? Does that work?
No, I think that also turned into Chemical X.
Damn it. All right. Well, you're going to have to... You can get cheetah steaks. And if you're, like, the one cheetah jerk... Like, you know, the one competitor for your country, I think you can get a cheetah. So, the world record for the 100-meter dash is 9.58 seconds. What you're going to be able to do as a cheetah actually has been done by the cheetah Sarah at the San Diego Zoo.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that cheetah.
Yeah, I did too. So, Sarah... It's actually a fun fact. Sarah is a cheetah at the zoo, and she does daily runs. And she does them with her best friend dog that they grew up together with. So she was raised together with a puppy, and they like to run together. So they just have this cheetah do this 100-meter dash at the zoo.
That's adorable.
And so Sarah's record is, instead of 9.5 seconds, 5.9 seconds. So that's a pretty easy one to beat. And it's already been beaten, but you'll just, you know, transfer it over to your cheetah legs and get there. Going up to 400-meter dash, cheetah's still your best bet. The record there, 43 seconds. You're going to be able to do it in 13.8 going cheetah speeds. So the last running one is the 1500-meter run. And this is at the point where the cheetah can't dash for that long and starts slowing down. So the fastest animal over this distance is actually the pronghorn, or the American antelope. So it can run 42 miles an hour for up to a mile, which is luckily the length of the 1500-meter run.
Right, yeah.
So the world record for this one is 3 minutes and 26 seconds, and you're going to be able to beat it in just a minute and 20. So a third of the current world record time with your antelope legs. So that's the obvious one. But this running fast, you know, pretty self-explanatory.
A lot of things run faster than humans.
Yeah, basically any animal is going to do it.
Yeah.
So the next one is the high jump. So my first thought was the tree frog. So the tree frog can jump 150 times its body length. And I was like, great, just gonna get some frog legs. And then I realized, oops, tree frogs are very poisonous. So the act of eating the tree frog legs is not gonna get you there. I had some other small animals for candidates. The kangaroo rat can jump 45 times its body length. There's a bug called the frog hopper, which can jump 400 times its body length. It's only 1.5 centimeters long, but actually, the problem when you scale up these very small animals is that you have to move your volume. You know, your mass is based on your volume. So you have to move your volume, but your muscle strength is like the cross-sectional area. So it's like your inches squared instead of inches cubed, which would be the volume. So as you get bigger, your relative strength decreases by a bunch. So I actually looked through a lot of animals, and the best one I found is the white-tailed jackrabbit, which is 26 inches long, so it's like it's a pretty big rabbit. It's like 2 feet big. This rabbit can jump 19 foot 8 inches into the fucking air.
What?
This rabbit could literally just, like, 2-story house can just jump onto your roof from the ground floor.
I want to see this.
This one's not even that much smaller than you, so when you scale it up to your human size and you get these sweet, sweet jackrabbit legs, your high jump is going to be 42 feet, which beats the current record of 8 feet, which is also a pretty big fucking number.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Like, that's a big game right there. But, I mean, come on.
You don't really need to worry about your form anymore. You don't have to arc your back or anything.
Well, to beat the other people also eating jackrabbit, because jackrabbit's not that hard to get.
That's right. Oh yeah, everyone's going to be doing this.
Yeah, so, I mean, the record will probably vary. Like, you know, you set the record and then, you know, 2 years later, or, you know, someone sets it at like 42.5 feet, and you're like, well, screw you. The long jump distance, as far as I could tell for what the rabbits can do, isn't much further than the height, which was a bit weird to me. But the long jump record is 29 feet, which is also a lot more than I expected it to be. But you're going to be able to clear 40 pretty easy. So long jump, you're going to have your jackrabbit. Next one I got here, more jumping, but this one's not going to be as good for the rabbit. The 110-meter hurdles. So we have our good friend the kangaroo is actually our top dog here. The red kangaroo went during its maximum stride. It takes 25-foot leaps up to 9 feet high.
Yeesh.
So what's the rule with hurdles? Do you have to jump them one at a time?
I don't think
Probably not. I don't think it's ever come up before.
Yeah, it hasn't come up before. We do not need to jump them one at a time, I'm pretty sure. And so during this, the gallivanting thing, I forget what they call it, a gallop or like I forget the word. I'm going to call it a kangaroo gallop. So during this kangaroo gallop, they average 40 miles an hour. Or slightly over, but I said 40, considering you have to be slightly awkward for the hurdle spacing, because you do need to land between two of them. The world record is 12.8 seconds for the 110-meter hurdles. You're going to be able to do that in under half that at 5.6 seconds, and it's only going to take you 15 jumps. Actually, how many hurdles are in the 110-meter hurdle? I don't have that in front of me.
I don't know.
Hurdles. How many hurdles?
20 to 30? I'm just trying to think about how far apart hurdles are.
Oh, they're not too close together. There's only 10 hurdles. They're like every 30 feet.
It just feels closer because they run really fast.
Yeah, so really, actually, you're not doing it in less jumps, but you just are doing not any running in between them.
Right.
But, so you're gonna be the red kangaroo. So now we get into the more interesting ones that aren't just like, which animals are the biggest and the fastest. Because these sports get a little bit more complicated for just big and fast animals. The first one I have here is the pole vault. So you could do this, just like, hey, just jump and ignore the pole, but I feel like it's part of the sport to incorporate the pole. And so it was tricky because you can get extra arm strength or like extra leg strength, but neither one's actually going to help you get much more height because the elasticity of the pole is kind of what's important. And so I think I have the best solution, which is going to be the Caribbean reef squid. So you're going to get some calamari, which is also known as the flying squid. So what the flying squid does is it actually will build up water. Squid can do like the jet propulsion, but it's actually very good at it. And it'll actually jump out of the water, and it can reach a height of 2 meters above the water and like get a total distance of like 30 feet flying. And that's like their natural, that's like the fastest we can make it do. That's like their natural inclination. They're airborne for a whole 3 seconds. Like 1, 2, 3, back in the water.
3 seconds is a long time.
So I think you just go over, you like hop in the Olympic pool quick, you suck up some water so you get that, your pressure going, you run up, you pole vault, and at the height of the pole vault, you just unleash your Caribbean reef squid jet propulsion. And
hope no one's standing behind you.
And hope no one's yet. Well, people can stand behind you. That's their fault. They shouldn't be on the track.
They're in the splash zone. Come on, it was labeled.
So the world record is 6 meters for the pole vault. I don't know how high you would get as the Caribbean reef squid. It's really kind of tough to judge what the propulsion mechanics would be. And even if I did the research, I still wouldn't know because, and I quote here, biologists still do not fully understand the mechanics of squid aeronautics. So I say you're just gonna double it. I think you can double it with your fancy, with 3 seconds of airborne pressure.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have all the skills of a human. You're just gonna have the extra propulsion too.
Yeah. So now for these records, we've kind of like doubled some of them, tripled some of them. It's the throwing records actually where we start breaking the Olympics a little bit because I don't know if there's any real rules about throwing things like with your arms exactly. So the first one here I have is the javelin toss. And I kind of equated the javelin to a scorpion tail because it has pretty much like a good jab motion to get that javelin going. And so the scorpion can sting at a rate of 51 inches per second. And so if you scale that up to a human-sized scorpion tail, it's a proportional speed of 130 miles an hour is going to be your release speed, which is just about double the 70 mile an hour that the Olympic javelin throwers normally throw. So the record for a javelin is right now 100 meters. Your distance is going to be 345. So you're going to more than triple the javelin throw.
So you're proving Ben's theory wrong.
Right. But like I said, you're throwing with a tail now as opposed to your arm.
And that is also less accuracy required than, say, pitching.
Yeah, you do not need the accuracy here.
It's more just like sling it and try to keep it straight.
And so the next two are the ones I'm the most excited about. We've made it through the more tame events. Now we get the discus throw. Here's where I got my buddy, the mantis shrimp. So the one I was looking at has the arm stays straight and it kind of flings out. Like a straight arm flings out very fast, which is pretty much the motion you need for a discus throw. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. So the mantis shrimp, the tip of the punch goes 50 miles an hour, which actually, if you look back, is slower than what the Olympic javelin throwers were throwing at. But the mantis shrimp is very, very small, and 50 miles an hour on a 2-centimeter arm is actually very fast as far as like an angle switch. Like, the momentum of your arm's traveling 60 degrees, you're doing it very fast. So if you take the length of the shrimp arm and scale it up to the length of a human arm, the speed goes from 50 miles an hour to 1,500 miles an hour. So the Olympic record for a discus throw is 70 meters.
I mean, after saying that first speed, I don't think you really need to say the record.
Yeah, the record is 70 meters. Your distance that you're going to be able to throw this discus is 45,581 meters, or 28.5 miles.
That is more than a marathon right there.
Yeah, so you could throw it to the marathon winner while they're at the podium from the start. Assuming that the disc doesn't just, disintegrate from the forces.
Right.
And that's not even the best record we're going to beat. Because the mantis shrimp, although it was thought to be the fastest motion in the animal kingdom, is actually not the fastest. So we're going to move on to the shot put. And this one's going to be a little tougher to eat, because we're going to need to eat trapjaw ants. So the trapjaw ant is basically an ant, but it's got two big pincers that are 180 degrees apart from each other that snap shut at a ridiculous speed. So they snap shut at 140 miles an hour at their tiny ant scale.
I mean, I think it would still be pretty easy to eat them.
Well, what they
it's
do...
It's easy to kill them.
Yeah, so the problem is you're trying to eat them is that the way they escape is by putting their head against the ground and snapping their jaws. So these little tiny ants will actually shoot up a good, it was 8.3 centimeters into the air and up to 40 centimeters away by doing this hop. So they're going to be able to, if you have them on your plate, they can hop over your plate and keep hopping away with their jaws. So you basically have this popcorn effect that you're trying to eat these ants.
You could just smash it with anything.
I mean, I guess you could kill them, but I mean, do you want to eat smashed ants? You got to eat them live for the best effect. So I did a lot of the same math. It was actually hard to find out how the force transfers from something getting squeezed between two jaws. I couldn't find any good equations, so I basically just did the amount of energy that the jaws would generate if you can get that same angular momentum that the trapjaw ant does. I had the amount of energy it was. It was thousands and thousands and thousands of joules, but it's in my...
this is the part where he loses his spot in his notes.
This is the part where I literally didn't write it down on my show notes, and they're in my notebook, which is on the other side of the room. So I'm missing some big numbers in the math, but believe me, they're big. So if you can transfer all the energy of your jaws and just stick the fucking 16-pound shot put into your mouth and shoot it off, the world record here is 23 meters. Your distance is going to be 896 miles is how far this shot put is going to go. Which, unfortunately, does not quite get into, the stratosphere and go into space, but it's not so far off. It is going to be over in the next few towns, and it's going to be just buck fucking wild. So that's how you beat all the decathlon records, by being the Ben 10 of snacks.
So you'll just have, an ultimate meal the night before with all this stuff.
Well, you have to kind of do the events in order, so you're gonna have to have a snack pouch.
I guess we didn't. Yeah, I don't know how fast it would take to take effect.
I mean, my thing was you immediately
Instant.
are the last thing you ate. Yeah, I could not find a use for vegetables. They fucking suck.
Yeah.
Why do we eat these things? Every time I was oh, what could you do as this plant or this animal or this leafy thing? It's oh, you could just be mostly water and immobile. Yeah, not so great.
What about that tree that you found that shoots stuff at a speed of a bullet?
Oh yeah, that one, poisonous.
I forget what it's called. Oh, it's poisonous.
Yeah, all those trees are, in addition to being ridiculously powerful, are also very poisonous. So I did explore it, but I could not eat that tree. Because every part of it was poisonous too. The leaves are poisonous, the bark is poisonous, the seeds are poisonous. You can't get it.
But if you can become it, then that's like the ultimate thing to be.
That is the angriest tree.
You just become dead. There are some powers that we are not meant to have, even hypothetically.